Just give me 1 second. I'm gonna move some stuff around.
Could just use the Landers project to do it real fast.
Yeah. All right, can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, so to start off, after you have your map, you have your layers, you want to start at project and you want to start at layout manager.
Okay.
And it'll pop up with this. Now, as you can see, I started one, but the nice thing about this, you can make multiple layouts and always come back to them. So if you don't even have one, just hit create. It'll just create one for you, and it'll give you this screen. This is your layout screen. Now to start off, it can be a little tricky at first, but you always use, like I always used add item.
Okay.
And so you start with add map, and then you go ahead and you can adjust once you have set your map down, and it'll have, if you could see on your right hand side of this layout menu, it'll have all the lists of your layouts done. So first I'll set up my map, right? And if you have, say your map is in a spot where like you want to adjust what it looks like in the inside, you're going to want to use move item content, this little symbol right here. And it clicks it to where you can actually move and adjust. So if you have to zoom in, zoom out, and then once you're done with that, you want to go back and click, this controls, what's this called? Select move item. This moves everything in. So if you zoom out, it'll zoom out of the layout. So you want to be careful. So if you're just once you set your map, obviously this isn't my map I'm going to use. To add the rest of your stuff, such as we'll add a legend. Once you click the item add legend, you just mark it down and you can adjust it as such.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it's really nice, real convenient. Now every single time it'll have all the different extra stuff you wouldn't need, such as your layer, the name of your layers and stuff. Yeah. To get rid of these, all you have to do is first unclick. You see on this, can you guys see this legend item over here? It says auto update.
Yes.
You unclick your auto update, and then all you have to do is, so if I want to get rid of, on my legend, I want to get rid of this geo, you just click your geo, hit the subtract button, and it's gone. And you can do the same for adding and subtract, just adding. I mainly, it'll put everything up, so all you have to do is just get rid of all the stuff you don't want to use.
Right.
And you can rename all of those too. So you can rename the titles of the faults, Landers, geology, polys. You can rename all of that stuff. It's really easy.
Cool.
Yeah, I appreciate. Yeah, feel free to say anything, CJ, if I miss anything. But also, if some people haven't gone through all their GIS courses and stuff, so I just always want to add a title. If you're going to make maps like this, just make sure you have a title, a scale bar, and a north arrow. And everything is exactly how we put it. So you could put your north arrow, small, you have your scale bar, and everything is exactly, it's very, very fast, easy, and efficient. And then once you're done with your layout, say you have everything in, and you've already adjusted everything, you can even add, adjust it on here. Once you have set your map and you're satisfied, you want to go to export, and then just easy peasy lemon squeezy. And that's it.
And all kinds of different formats you can export it in, I saw. So that's great.
Yeah, it's really, and you guys can play around with it. That's the very simplified version. But just for instance, this is the map that I was able to give Chelsea. And and in terms of if you've messed with ArcMap and you know how hard it is to to set up your layout, this process is to me personally, is 5,000 times more efficient than ArcMap, because you see how fast you can just snap, snap, snap. And
yeah, you can play with your design and all that. And
once I finished my mapping, this part only took me maybe 10 minutes.
Right. So yeah, so that's great. Thanks for the tutorial. It helps all of us. You don't feel like you have to make perfect layouts for these, fault maps, but that's great, and that'll help everybody, I think. So
yes, thank you.
Now we can figure out how to add text labels, but that can be for another discussion or an email or something.
Yep. Appreciate Eric. I'm just glad I could help everyone because I know like how long some of these take, and you want like instead of drawing a whole separate legend, that it's easier just to drag and just throw everything on.
Sure.
So
that's great.
Chelsea, I had a quick question like regarding the legends. So I also did it this way where you just kind of have the color and the label, but in the future, or maybe with our more expansive mapping projects, do you want us to have a more detailed legend where we kind of give a little description of the rock as well?
So
Or the unit?
in the mapping, you'll want to focus more on the essentially the annotation of the faults.
Yeah.
And so you'll want like a very good quality ranking and division of primary versus secondary. And so we'll talk about that a little bit later.
Yeah. We'll be less focused on the descriptions of the units and the legend and stuff like that, more just the faults, the distribution of faults, I think. But we'll get into that a little bit more when we start talking about projects.
Okay, thank you. And then thanks, Jack, for that.
I hope it was helpful. Instead, like, especially for how busy you are, Rachel, I would hate that you're doing like making a whole separate legend on Illustrator. That would take way too long. So.
No, this is definitely an easier format now, so I'll use it in the future.
Okay, guys, I got to run. Thank you. Have a good day and good luck with the homework. Let me know if you have any questions.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Have a good day.
See ya.